Yes, and you're waking up with Damo here on 4WK. Time to get some local history into your ears. And, of course, we do that with Harold Peacock. Good morning, mate.
Good morning, Damo. Yeah, some fake news for you today. So, hopefully but it's still history. So hopefully you like it.
Exactly. Well, let's take everyone back 120 years ago, and this Dalby woman who was revered as raising an honest, respectable and hard-working family. But, well, all is not as it seems, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Now, when Mrs. Catherine Sankey died in Dalby in 1904, her obituary said that although having met many losses and reverses in her life, she succeeded in rearing an honest, respectable and hard-working family of sons and daughters. And just a few years earlier, a son's obituary noted that the family had been long and favourably known in the Dalby district. But I'll leave it to you to decide how true these reports were about the Sankey family. Right, it started with Thomas Sankey, his wife Catherine, and their young family when they left Tipperary Island and arrived in Moreton Bay in 1862. Now, when land became available in the Dalby district, they selected land as a block on the Condamine River. Thomas died shortly afterwards, which left Catherine to raise a family on her own. Now, enterprising and hard-working they may have been, but honest and respectable and favourably known, well, they weren't words that would spring to mind. You see, firstly, Catherine and her brother were tried for horse stealing but had a narrow escape from the law. And then there were his sons. One son, John Sankey, he was a shearer. He was charged with maiming cattle and died at the Dalby Hospital with typhoid. Now, his son was considered a thorough gentleman and would be killed in the First World War. And so he was the family's quiet achiever. Another son, Jeremiah Sankey, he faced the same charge of maiming cattle. He was also charged with cattle stealing, was sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for assaulting a young girl, and in 1884 got 18 months imprisonment for housebreaking. Another son, Michael Sankey, he faced the same cattle maiming charge, and he was only 13 years old at the time. A year earlier, in 1873, Michael was just 12 when he and his brother William Sankey were charged with stealing 100 sheep, and their mother, Catherine, was charged with receiving the sheep. Now, the judge in the case was Charles Blakeney. His father was the rector of Roscommon in Ireland and grandfather and archbishop and the primate of Ireland. So there may have been some Irish rivalry happening here. In any case, Judge Blakeney said no one could possibly believe the story that the family simply found the sheep. Catherine was sentenced to imprisonment in Toowoomba jail for 12 months. Son William was jailed for 3 years. And young Michael, well, he was discharged, presumably because of his tender age. Now, the Sankeys' defence lawyer was the local Dalby solicitor, Mr. George Harris. Now, when early defending another client, Mr. Harris was given the defendant's horse in payment for his services. For defending the Sankeys, Mr. Harris asked the judge if some of the money that was found on Catherine Sankey might be awarded to him as his fee defending her. The judge suggested that Mr. Harris should consult with his client so that some arrangement might be made. Now, Mr. Harris was allowed to see Catherine, but he returned saying that she declined to make any settlement, so she got free defence. And Judge Blakeney, he was not surprised. In his summing up, he noted that for several years, the Sankey family had had an enviable or unenviable notoriety. For many years, the family had borne a bad name in connection with horses, sheep and cattle. It was said if a horse was lost, a Sankey had already found it. The judge added that the evil ways in which her boys were brought up was all due to their mother, Catherine. He went further and said that it was a sad thing that the family should owe their disgrace to their mother. Now, Catherine's influence may even have extended to the next generation. It was her grandson, Patrick Sankey, in his divorce proceedings, that it came out that he told his wife he needed to go out 5 nights a week to attend meetings of the fishing club, table tennis club and cricket club. The wife asked him to stay home a bit more, so he agreed to give up his table tennis and cricket, but still had to go to his fishing club meetings 2 nights a week. Now, his wife did think it was a bit strange and never came home before midnight. Anyway, so this was the family of Catherine Sankey, whose obituary you remember, said that she reared an honest, respectable and hard-working family. Now, Damo, I think the lesson here is always make sure that you write your own obituary, just like it seems your Sankeys obviously did in Dalby 120 years ago.
Yes, you can always embellish it a little bit then, can't you?
Oh, look, that's the news. You write your news, you write your own history, and you're looking good. But I think the Sankeys, well, obviously the family today is a wonderful family, but back then, they were, let's call them colourful characters is the way to go.
That is for sure. Another great story, mate, and we appreciate it. And, of course, this will be uploaded to your website?
Yes, absolutely. You can go online to historyouthere.com, and you can also find History Out There in all the socials.
Fantastic, mate. Historyouthere.com, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week.
Oh, it's another good story next week.
Oh, looking forward to it, mate. You have a great week.
See ya.
There we go. Harold Peacock from historyouthere.com. Check out the story and many others on the website. We'll take a break and come back with more in a moment.